My name is Kirk Herbertson. I'm an associate at the World Resources Institute. In January 2009, I visited the Mae Moh coal power project in northern Thailand. This project provides electricity throughout northern Thailand and much of the rest of the country. It consists of a power plant that was built in the late 1970s and a coal mine that sits next to it. Over the past few decades, this project has expanded, and in the early 1990s, the size of the project reached a tipping point. The project was originally designed without community involvement, and this became a problem starting in the 1990s when communities began to feel the impacts of the project. From the power plant, sulfur dioxide emissions were blowing across communities that lived nearby, which resulted in various respiratory illnesses and also damaged crops. Communities also alleged that the coal mine, where coal mine dust was blowing from the mine across communities, have alleged since then that this has resulted in several different types of illnesses. WRI's report, Breaking Ground, Engaging Communities in Extractive Infrastructure Projects, attempts to prevent future Mae Mohs from happening. The report sets out a framework for how to actually conduct effective community engagement. The purpose of the report is twofold. One, to help companies and governments design better projects with more effective community input, and two, to help communities demand better processes when they're being affected by these projects. WRI's report includes 7 principles for effective community engagement. Prepare communities before engaging. Oftentimes, communities do not understand the full implications of a project before construction begins. As a result, it's important to prepare communities by providing them with full access to information before actually beginning the community engagement process. Determine what level of engagement is needed. Oftentimes, companies only engage communities to the extent to inform them of decisions already taken. One classic example is when a company will inform a community that a road is about to be built directly through the community and that bulldozers will be showing up 2 or 3 days later. Effective community engagement oftentimes does not just involve informing communities, but consulting with them before decisions are taken. Integrate community engagement into each phase of the project cycle. Effective community engagement involves engaging the communities throughout the life of the project, both during the design and the construction and implementation of the project, but also during the operation of the project and then later during the decommissioning of the project. Include traditionally excluded stakeholders. It's important not to hold a romanticized view of communities. Oftentimes, the community itself may marginalize certain members of the community, particularly women and certain minority groups. As a result, it's important to identify these groups and to make sure that they're involved throughout the process. Gain free, prior, and informed consent. Many communities, particularly indigenous communities, have lived on their land for generations, if not thousands of years. These communities' livelihoods and self-identities are often closely tied to the land. Just providing input into the design of a project may not be enough, and it may be necessary to obtain the consent of the communities for the project before proceeding. Resolve community grievances through dialogue. Even in the best designed projects, grievances may arise. As a result, in order to maintain trust between the community and the company, it's important to develop some sort of process ahead of time to resolve these grievances. Promote participatory monitoring by local communities. Participatory monitoring is a process that allows communities to collect their own information about a project so that they can continue to trust the project and ensure that it is not causing them any environmental or social harm. We hope that WRI's report will be useful to companies and governments who are seeking to design better projects in a way that can both benefit the broader good, but also to avoid harm to communities who will be hosting these projects. At the same time, we hope that communities will use this report to understand how community engagement processes can be effectively designed and to demand better processes.